Have you ever heard a rotisserie chicken being called a gentleman's handbag?
No.
Or is it a bachelor's handbag?
No. A bachelor's handbag?
I can't remember where I saw it because bachelors, like single men, used to just buy rotisserie chickens and eat them. So they're swinging their little bag.
Welcome to Emer and Esther's Sunday Roast with Emer and Esther.
I'm Emer McLysett.
And I'm Esther Mordennehy.
This is a podcast for anyone who just loves a roast dinner, particularly one you didn't have to cook yourself.
Every Sunday, right up until Christmas Day, we'll share our findings on roasts and carveries, the length and breadth of Ireland. Brackets Dublin, big roast money hasn't landed yet.
Obviously, we are hoping to go national and then international, but for the time being, our first carvery was sampled at Graingers / Hanlon's Corner. More on that later.
Yes.
I suppose we should talk about why we're doing this podcast. Yes. We shared a love of roasts during the pandemic. Talked about it on many long walks, many long walks.
Many long. We were just talking about that the other day. We were when we had to take those first tentative 5k or whatever it was walks. We were like, we're the best walkers. Look, there's space between us. And I remember putting something on Instagram like, it is possible to walk with 2 meters between you. But anyway, that was the climate. Anyway, we talked about roasts and we were mad for roasts. And then we started to get into it. Like, yeah, let's have our own little roast club of 2. And we had little scorecards and we go off. But then we got locked down again and we were like, can we get them delivered? But it wasn't the same.
It wasn't the same. I didn't want a sweaty roast. But we kind of wanted it to be this like forensic examination of roasts around Dublin city and county.
Yeah, we are. I think we're roast detectives. That's how I view myself. I'm like, I think we're both like the Nicola talent of roast potatoes.
Yeah,
that's the aim.
It's basically true crime about roast potatoes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we want to kind of bring you joy. We want to bring you gravy recommendations. We want to hear about you.
Yes.
And your roast preferences. Is your mum's the best? Is your local the best? You know, all of the ways to contact us will be in the show notes and we'll give you all the details. We'll get to that. We're professionals.
We don't worry about that.
We chose the pubs and carveries and restaurants that we chose because we did put out a call out and we kind of picked the ones that got the most shout outs in the DMs. It's not scientific. Some of them were geography and are they open today and, you know, how far are we willing to drive? Will be how hungry are we, etc. Well, actually not really how hungry are we. It was never, we were always hungry and we will always be hungry going forward.
Anyway, so Emer, let's just get a handle on your attitude to roast. What would be on your dreamiest roast dinner plate?
Okay. Growing up, we had a roast every Sunday. It was either a chicken, a lump of beef, maybe a bit of lamb. They were the 3 main ones. Maybe a lump of ham as well. My mother, I was going to say God rest her soul, she's still with us, very much with us.
Not enough restaurants describe their offerings as lumps of ham, lumps of beef.
She's still with us, overcooking meat within an inch of its life. Yes, the meat was always overcooked, but it was always still delicious. There was mashed potato, there was roast potatoes, there was usually mushy peas, and there was gravy, and there was stuffing, and there was a lump of meat. So that's the basis of my love of roasts. But then, I mean, I am a fan of a Yorkshire pudding, and the Yorkshires, they're a controversial topic, I suppose, but...
Yeah, they're like Japanese knotweed. They're not native to our shores, but we welcome and embrace them because they're delicious. And why don't we make them more often? Because it's just pancake batter, isn't it?
I know, but I feel like there's a lot of faff.
There's a lot of fat and spitting fat.
Spitting fat, yeah. So we never had them at home growing up. But I would take it. If offered a Yorkshire pudding, I would definitely take it.
Yeah.
A crispy roast with a fluffy inside. Yeah. Obviously. And just a lovely gravy. I'm not a big fan of gravies that are very pale in colour. And I know some of them are, naturally.
Because, and this is not a diss, we love and support you, Sophie went to your book launch during the week. She sent us a picture of a roast she made, and her chicken was her gravy was a paler colour. Maybe that's a chicken gravy though.
A chicken gravy, and I think if you don't add any like Basto gravy granules.
See, Sophie's too good a cook.
But the ones you get in a carvery are like deep brown. They know what the people want.
They're mahogany brown.
Sophie's a proper chef. Not saying the other people.
They're not. Oh geez, we're digging ourselves holes left, right and centre.
And what about you? What's your roast past, present and future?
I see myself eating roast well into the future. I'm excited about that. No, yeah. So mum make a roast every Sunday. Yeah, delicious, standard. Took for granted. What a delicious confection. Mum always made excellent roast potatoes. Because actually my brother went down to his girlfriend's at Christmas last and he was like, this is nice. I had COVID. I ruined Christmas for everybody, so everyone had to scatter like cabbage on a plate. That's it. We'll talk about that later. He was like, and how do I carry out the big vat of roast potatoes? Where are they? And they were like, no, we haven't made any.
On Christmas Day?
He tipped the table over, kicked all the windows in and was like, get me a peeler, stat. On Christmas Day.
I must say my mother's roast potatoes, they weren't the greatest. She doesn't know what a podcast is. She'll never listen to this. They weren't the greatest. And I think I can probably trace that back to the fact my mother's from Fermanagh and is extremely frugal. And to make a very good roast potato, you need to heat not a lot of oil, but it was a lot of oil to a woman who was born in the 1940s in Fermanagh. So she was skimping on the oil, and therefore the potatoes never quite got crispy enough, but they were still delicious. They were still hers. There was a bit of give in them.
Yeah, a bit of give in them. Yeah, because actually that is the tip for roast potatoes. You got to heat the oil first and then F them in.
Yeah.
Anyway, so our mission with this podcast every week is to protect and serve you roasts, and
that's what we're going to do.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah. Any other business before we get going into Graingers?
Any other business?
How was your week?
Week was good. There was Thunder and Lightning the other day, which I missed because we were at our friend Sophie White's book launch for her latest book, Where I End.
Out now.
Shops. Out now. Go get it.
Incredible. I've read it. I don't think there's any roasts in it, but it doesn't matter.
No roast references, but look, you can't have it all. But it's perfect this time of year because it's spooky, horror, beautiful thing. Anyway, but so we were at Sophie's book launch, but like there was a whole Thunder and Lightning show. We went for a few bevs afterwards behind us and I missed it all. I'm raging.
Do you know why it is? It's because we ate approximately, and this is not an exaggeration, 15 packets of bacon fries. You said that at one point the man had to go downstairs.
When I went up to get my round of bacon fries, they had to go downstairs to get another sleeve.
Yeah, we ate them out of bacon fries.
And they're fucking delicious.
They were delicious. But yeah, we missed the Thunder and Lightning.
Show.
Yeah.
It was like there was like George Clooney doing a dance behind us and we were all just like...
we're drinking cheap white wine and eating bacon fries. Why would we look outside?
We had the greatest time.
We are actually having an exciting weekend. As people are listening to this, we are going to be at one of the premier events of the year, Louise McSherry's 40th birthday party.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Louise.
Happy birthday, Louise.
I had a roast of sorts that wasn't a carvery this week.
Okay.
I went into Super Value. Not one of my top 3 supermarkets.
Okay.
Just going to put that out there.
Why?
What are your top 3 supermarkets?
Well, you know, I have a soft spot for Lidl. I have the runners, have the socks. I do love Lidl. I wouldn't have been a Dunnes growing up, but I am. I do mind the odd, like a little top up the shop in Dunnes. And then I would have to say, that's it.
I would say Tesco number 1, Lidl number 2, Aldi number 3.
Oh yeah, Aldi number 3.
Super Value. We were a Super Quinn family growing up, which kind of goes against what I said about my mother being extremely frugal and from Fermanagh. But it was really the only supermarket that was near us, and it was in Naas, which couldn't be less glamorous. So, Super Quinn no longer with us. Super Value. Do you know what it is? They're always higgledy-piggledy.
Emer, that's exactly what it is. Super Value, I love Super Value and great support everybody. But it's like they're like, oh, just all out in the floor.
There's too much stuff.
There's too much stuff.
And weird stuff that you'd never see in another shop.
I mean, I think it's great. There's a Super Value near me, and it's great because you do get the odd little weirdy bits like seaweed, crisps, and this kind of stuff, random stuff. But there's just so much stock.
The one in Kimmage.
Yes.
Yeah, I know it.
The one in Kimmage is good. Like, there's so much stock on the floor. And it's not merched. Merch it up. Let's see it. Let's put a bit of horse, a bit of straw down, a few little baguettes on just display items. But we digress.
I'm going to call myself a hypocrite and say I was in Super Value the other day. Yes. There's some things you just can't get in Lidl, for instance. I got half a rotisserie chicken. The problem with rotisserie chickens is they go slimy. They go slimy around the bottom. They're sitting in their own juice for too long and they go slimy. The breast of the chicken was lovely.
Did you get that classic rotisserie chicken meal would be cuisine de France baguette, load of butter, chicken.
Have you ever heard a rotisserie chicken being called a gentleman's handbag?
No.
Or is it a bachelor's handbag? No.
A bachelor's handbag?
I can't remember where I saw it because bachelors, like single men, used to just buy rotisserie chickens and eat them. So they're swinging their little bag. I'm trying to see. I have on my notes app. I have a little section called roast news.
Roast news.
So got half a rotisserie chicken. Tick. Fern Brady on Taskmaster correctly said that Greg Davies looks like he just eats roasts, which I thought was extremely apt.
I was like, whoa.
Greg Davies is my dream man. If he's listening, get in touch.
Loves him as well.
Just me.
Okay, he's yours. Okay, he's yours. I have roast news as well. There's the Sunday roast burrito in Cork.
Is this the roast burrito that?
That was English. That was but like that was in England.
First thing you do when you mention a roast, people go, "Have you heard about the burrito in London?" So it's in Cork now.
Yes, it says this is in Love in Dublin. We should give a shout out to the writer, Katie Thornton. Well done, Katie. It takes true ambition to combine two iconic dishes such as the burrito and the Sunday roast. Not everyone could achieve it, but Masseytown Rotisserie Deli dare to dream, and thank goodness they did. So last week,
lovely copy,
or was it last month? They debuted a Yorkshire pudding style bowl where meat, potatoes, veg and gravy call home to be wrapped up burrito style for all your eating needs. And there's a video of Masseytown, follow them on Instagram, making their little burrito, and this on every Sunday apparently. So
maybe season 2
of
Emer and Esther Sunday roast with Emer and
maybe
Esther.
season 2. It's in Cork on Paul Street, 7am to 7pm Sunday to Wednesday, 7am to 9pm Thursday to Saturday. So yeah. Okay, so where was our first roast?
Our first roast was, I think what many people will know as Hanlon's Corner pub. It's where kind of Prussia Street and the Old Cabot Road intersects with North Circular Road. The pub is actually called Graingers, but it is on Hanlon's Corner there. We are going to be rating our roasts out of a number of different categories, and we did bring scorecards to the pub.
Yeah.
They have we're going to be rating, of course, the meal, the roast. We're going to be rating the host, which is the pub. And we're going to be rating what I've called the Holy Ghost because it just sounds nice to the ear, but that's the overall experience.
Yeah, okay,
the Holy Ghost.
Okay,
so that delicious Sunday, we went to Graingers.
Emer, we're about to leave the car outside Lidl on some road that you know that I don't know.
Old Cabot Road.
Old Cabot Road.
We're in the Dublin 7 Lidl.
We're in the Dublin 7 Lidl, and I feel like
abusing their car parking facilities.
There is that if you're stuck and you want
first Lidl, but if you want to sponsor the podcast.
yeah, absolutely. Or on post. There's an on post 24/7 locker here situation here. And I feel like Donald McIntyre, like an investigative reporter, and I think we should just get this party started.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Let's go.
We are sad. Absolutely. Let's go. In and in we go. Open the door. Oh yeah. Oh, I think this is fine. Yeah. We'll get shot here. Oh, and should we get a table first and then we'll...
So we walked into Graingers. Esther, what did you think?
It was busy. People were banging out the roasts, dark wood, lit candles. There was a pandemic ice cream machine. A lot of people diversified into different things.
Yeah, I remember them diversifying a lot during the pandemic. They had a lot of outside seating. That's a busy corner. A lot of traffic fumes.
Yeah.
But it's very much a local pub. I used to live in that area and it's a real locals pub. There's a housing estate across the road. You know, there's a lot of people living in that area, and I would just say it's very much like who we had over for the Sunday roast.
Yeah, and people were.
Yeah.
And there was also, we went in looking for somewhere to sit. There was loads of places to sit, but we're kind of trying to find where's the optimum table. Walked too far into the bar, retreated, back in.
Yeah, we ended up in kind of the old man's bar section. And if we'd lingered for a second longer, one of them would have said something to us. Not in a scary way, but in a, no, girls, back away.
Go back from where you came from. Get back, turn around. So anyway, we secured our table, secured the bag, secured our table.
Yeah.
And Emer went up first. Emer, you went up to the carvery.
I went up to the carvery.
Yummy. Emer.
I ordered the turkey. I probably would have. So it was your real typical carvery setup. So they had they Ban Marie's, is that what they call them?
Yeah.
Ban Marie's set up. Crucially, I did not see that they had the menu and the whole spiel on a big telly above the bar. So I was a little bit, and there was no queue when I went up. So he was ready there with his 2 knives.
You were ordering blind.
I was ordering blind. He had his 2 knives. He was a big man, and I kind of panicked, and I was looking at the meat, and there was a big, I would say, boned and rolled turkey roast. There was a tiny little scrag end of beef, and then there was some ham. I didn't want the ham. I wouldn't usually go for the ham. I went for the turkey because I thought, well, the beef's nearly gone. It was late enough in the day. Went for the turkey.
You can't have it all.
Didn't want to overload my plate. Didn't want to. I can be a little bit about stuff mixing on my plate, so I kept it pretty simple. I got 2 roasty options, mashed and roast. 2 roasty options. I've just roasties on the brain. 2 spud options.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled. Esther, what about you?
Emer came back, sat down. I went up. My turn. Me. What about me? There was a lively takeaway roast queue happening. So there was people before me. And I think if you're getting the takeaway roast, it's great. Good sized tinfoil box. You can take it away, eat at home.
You were up there a while though.
I was up there a while. There was a bit of a queue. See, I was in the handover of the new joint.
Yeah.
And which is where you missed out.
Yeah.
You know, I came at the right time, and that's what life is about. It's about timing.
And the beef came out as you were standing there.
And the beef came out as I was standing there, and I said, beef, please.
I mean, it's fairly regular now that Esther appears and the beef comes out. Way!
All right, girls! I wish that was our catchphrase. So the beef came out and the gloves were off, and I said, I'll have all the types of potato, please. And there were 3 types of potatoes. You get your garlic potatoes with some sort of cheesy confection on it, mashers, roasters, carrots, broccoli, cabbage, which I thought was unusual, but you accepted this as the norm.
Yeah, I didn't get the cabbage, but I have seen cabbage.
I got everything. I got the full plate. And unlike Emer, who did not look up and see the beauty in for her, I saw the TV with the options. I said, I'll have the full plate, please. It was €17. Tapped for my dinner. I said to the barroom, I was like, and I'll have a glass of Coke. Did you want a pint? I said, no, thank you. I said, just the bottle. And so she gave me that and a pint of water. Off I tootled. Emer had to come and assist with the...
You had a lot going on. You had the full plate.
A loaded plate, 2 drinks, and a heart full of delight.
I mean, I'm loath to go straight to the gravy, but it did look like, and I mean, I took a picture, obviously, and sent the picture to several friends because, I mean...
They're normal.
It's a roast. Who doesn't want to see a picture of a roast? And immediately back, it was like, that's a lot of gravy. I want to defend the gravy, right? The plates were big. They weren't massive. The food was piled high, like quite high. What I did notice was, I said, I'll have the turkey. He didn't go straight in with the turkey. He went to the sides first. And he loaded the plate with the spuds and the stuffing and everything. Then he came back and he put the turkey on top. Then he did the gravy. The gravy looked more than it was. So when you actually got into it, I found there wasn't really too much gravy on my plate. It was kind of the right amount.
Okay. It was a slide of turkey. Personally, I would have, had I known, if I could go back, if I could do it all again, if I could go back, I'd say just a little bit of gravy and just concentrate in one area. It was too much for me. Okay. And overall, I was very happy with the plate of food. It was delicious, and I really gave a good go. Now, that day, just the way life goes on, I went for brunch. Who goes for brunch anymore? But someone had arranged it. I was full.
Esther revealed this to me when I picked her up to go for the roast, and she said, well, I've been for brunch. And I was like, sorry,
first of all, what is it, 2009? And I was like, yeah, I know, but look, these things come up and you go for
this. Is like this. It felt to me a little bit like, now Esther, you know, I don't want to come at you too hard, but it felt to me a little bit like, you know, you're getting married. It's your hen party day. Your best friend shows up and she goes, I'm hungover. I don't think I'm going to drink today. It's like the time I went to New York with my good friend and co-author, Sarah Breen. I was meeting her in New York. She was living in America at the time. And I had bought really a irresponsibly sized bottle of gin for us to share in our hotel room. And I got there and she said, I'm pregnant. Oh, God. You know, I felt like going back to JFK Airport and getting back on that Aer Lingus, whatever. Well, let's just go through the bits. The meat. How was your meat? How was the beef?
Beef, stunning, delicious.
Lovely.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, my turkey was also delicious. Moist. People don't like turkey. They say, oh, why do we have to eat it on Christmas? I quite like turkey. I like the taste of it. Yeah. This was moist turkey.
Yeah.
This was moist turkey. Boned and rolled. I know my mother's a fan. They had other options. They had, I think, a fish option. I think they also have an a la carte menu. I saw people looking at it, and I've seen on their Instagram like a lamb shank, and there was a couple of other kind of fancier options. So that is an option. There is more food than just the carvery, and as far as I know, they do it 7 days a week. Not the carvery, I don't know, but they do food 7 days a week.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, kind of tying with star of the show, but very important is the potato experience.
I don't know if they were cooked from frozen, but I thought the roasties were good. I would have gone for 1 scoop. They had 3 scoops of mash. I would have gone for 1 unnet. But everyone's got their own potato preferences, and I would have foregone the garlic confection. I had too much food in my plate.
I did not go for the garlic potatoes because there was quite a bit of sauce with the garlic potatoes.
And you are funny about your sauces.
And and the potatoes, they were kind of half baby potatoes, were they? It wasn't really a gratin.
No,
experience.
they were like new potatoes that had been
cooked in a garlic. I did see them on someone else's plate, and it did look tasty, but I just
not for you.
Panicked. I just said no, I won't have those. Yeah, my mash. Now I can't really speak to the mash because it kind of gets.
Do you want to speak on the mash, Emer?
I'll speak a little bit on the mash, but it kind of melded in with everything else. So I couldn't really talk about it on its own. I love a carvery mash. I'm not even, this is kind of a perverse thing to say, I'm not against a bit of lumpy mash.
Oh God.
I think it harks back to my college days and getting a college kind of, the way college would have kind of a carvery set up. And in my experience in Trinity College Dublin, didn't finish the degree. Didn't finish the degree, so I'm allowed to mention it because I didn't finish the degree.
Do a shot, everybody. Do a shot.
The buttery there used to do a stunning chicken Kiev mashed potato and sweet corn. And the mash.
The sweet corn.
Yeah.
That's the element you want.
Yeah.
That's the sweetness, the crunch, the bite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And there was a little bit of lump to the mash, and I feel like I'm still chasing that high. My mother does a lovely mash.
Emer, will you stop writing the books? And all she's looking for is that lumpy mash, Emer. Stop writing the books.
I don't think there were lumps in the Graingers mash, But the
No,
mash,
there weren't.
there was not the mash was fine. I had nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
I don't know if I got 3 scoops. I could have done.
did.
I could have done with a bit more mash.
They loaded me up. They were like, she's had brunch. Let's get that girl. We want to see if
Yeah.
get her to burst like a
Maybe
gust
they
of
were.
glue.
You're a tall girl. Maybe they were like,
hollow legs.
She has hollow legs. She
Hollow
needs
legs.
to.
Going back to the cottage dinners, we were talking about this recently. I have between 5 and 7 other friends, but one of my favourite cottage dinners was burger, gravy, onions. Oh, and chips. No, mashed potato chips.
And were you getting that from kind of a Ban Marie carvery?
They were all
setup?
loaded up on this, like, as far as I remember, it was like just kind of a stainless steel thing, and they were all there like little babies in a nursery hospital, and you were just like, that's my baby, and you go back and eat it.
One of my first jobs was as a kitchen porter. Yeah,
Scraping the plates.
I chopped so many onions that I became immune to the fumes. That can happen.
Hashtag immune to the fumes.
Immune to the fumes. Emer, age 15, immune to onion fumes. Putting it on my
Wow.
CV. It's hard to get that smell off your fingers. Veg options. You went for all the veg options. Good for you.
But I thought that's what, I just didn't think you could pick a mix. But so there was cabbage, broccoli, and carrots. They were not overcooked, delicious.
They weren't overcooked, which I think is really important.
Yeah, it's really important.
Especially broccoli and carrots. They can really lose their integrity.
They really can. There's no need to boil the blimmin' daylights out.
No, they were lovely. The carrots were in batons. I believe the shape of a carrot is very important. I like all shapes of carrot.
Oh yeah, but then at home you make yourself a disc. You want a special shape if you're going out.
I might do a baton at home.
Oh, jeez Louise. Well, you can tell you worked in catering in your youth. She's immune to the fumes. Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
Yeah, I just got the carrots and broccoli. Really enjoyed them. Could have had a bit more. Could have had a bit more. I would say between the portion I got was 1 of my 5 a day, not 2. Okay. You know, could have had a bit more veg.
The other thing is, did you get stuffing?
Yes, I did.
What did you think?
It was a little bit dry. It was, do you know, again, there is, stuffing is on a spectrum, and it goes from very dry, almost like crumb-like individual little pieces, to my mother's sausage meat stuffing, which is a cake of stuffing. It's delicious.
Oh God, yeah.
It's delicious. This was on the drier end of the scale.
Yeah.
And it was tasty. I've had plenty of dry stuffing in my life and enjoyed it. I believe stuffing is really important for taste. It's one of the few things I will make myself at home. I'm not a big cook. I've probably roasted about 4 things in my life, 4 joints of meat. But I do make a nice stuffing.
Wow, I would never go for the stuffing. Yeah. I didn't particularly care for this. It was standard. So it was a stuffing.
It was very standard
in butter. There was no onion, no bit of sage, no bit of rosemary. It was what it was.
It hadn't been cooked inside anything.
No, it was its own island.
It could have done with probably a little bit more butter or something. A moistener. I still enjoyed it. I was glad it was there on the plate. Any other extras? Stuffing is kind of an extra. You could
I thought it was just standards, like, as you established, I got everything.
Another extra that wasn't available here, and it's probably a little bit controversial.
I know what you're going to say.
It's the Yorkshire pudding.
I welcome it. I support them, but it is more of a British thing.
Never not at it, the Brits. I've imposed the Yorkshire pudding on the Irish, as they've imposed so many things on the Irish over the years. 800 years. It must be 900 years now at this point.
It has to be 900 years. It was 18 months of the pandemic for a long time.
Yeah.
And it has to be about 900 years of the, yes.
I enjoy a Yorkshire pudding. Our very first roast together, I think it was our very first roast, was the one in the Patriots Inn in Kilmainham. They had a Yorkshire pudding that was the size of, now let me think, what was it the size of? Not a book, a small book, a novella. It had been cooked, I think, you know those little enamel, have them
downstairs.
Little trays you can get for your oven. It was that size, a small enamel dish.
A little boat.
It was divine. I would always say yes to a Yorkshire pud if it's on the go. It was not on the go in Graingers. Fine, it's fair enough. Not everyone makes them. Not everyone agrees with them. Not everyone is politically aligned with a Yorkshire pudding.
Yes, correct.
Again, in the heart of Dublin 7, they might not be welcome.
I don't think so. Just a stone's throw away from the Phoenix Park, which is something you could do after your roast if you wanted to amble up the road on the North Circular. I was taken in by the North Circular Road. I don't go on it that frequently. I was like, wowee! Yeah. It's just like the South Circular Road, but it's on the north side. Yeah. Gorge. What do you think about marfat peas?
Had them weekly growing up on a Sunday. My mother used to soak them overnight with a little disc of, I think it was like bicarbonate of soda or something, which seems very, we walked to school in our bare feet, doesn't it? My mother soaking the peas.
Did you call over once here and I left you? Yeah. I was like, no, off you go. And I gave you a packet.
I called over once here and I was like, do you know what I'm after buying at the shop? Lamb chops. Lamb chops. She's in the money.
Yeah.
And I said, but I've no then we discussed what would be good with the lamb chops, and you were like, marrowfat peas, and I said, I don't have any, I don't really want to go to the shop. What did Esther produce from the cupboard? Tin of marrowfat peas, which I don't think I've ever had them from a tin.
I don't think. No. It wouldn't. I know it wouldn't have been a tin. It would have been a little green bag of them. I would never buy the tin.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but there were no soak. I can't.
Okay.
I don't fucks with the soaking.
I think soaking was done away with maybe when spaghetti bolognese came to Ireland in the maybe mid-90s. We've gone really off piste here.
Whoa. Okay, so I think we've covered the meal. Let's go into some other areas. What do you think?
So other things that were important to us aside from the food. Obviously, the food is the star of the show. Other things important to us are kind of the ambience, the other patrons. Most importantly, eavesdropping and earwigging. Again, harking back to our first incredible roast in the Patriots in Kilmainham. There was a group there that day and people kept joining. Everyone who joined the group said, have you seen John? John never came. They couldn't get over the fact that John wasn't there.
And then we were dying to see you. What was so magical about John?
I don't know. The earwigging and eavesdropping.
I couldn't hear anything because of my position. Also, there was horse racing going on and just the general noise. There was also, I think there was pipe music. Made a note of what I heard beside me just briefly. Someone said, teeth knocked out next door.
Couldn't get the deets, but that was, it was good eavesdropping. I wasn't earwigging. I wasn't like trying to listen, but this is just what sailed into my ear.
Okay.
Behind me, when you were up getting your carvery, there was a woman behind me with, I'm going to assume he was her husband.
Yes.
And they were talking about someone they know who got the carvery, I believe also in Graingers, and was full and said, I'm going to take that beef home, make a sandwich with it later. Fast forward 15 minutes later. Your one, I believe, has purposefully kept some beef back because she wants to recreate this experience. Yeah. And she says, sorry, I'm going to take some of this home. Could you wrap it up for me? That's where it all went to hell. Okay. And this, I think you were privy to some of the explosion that happened later. The poor girl, the waitress, came back out with a takeaway tub. The woman was disgusted. You're disgusting. She didn't tell her she was disgusting, but she was fuming that she was expected to wrap it up herself. She couldn't believe it. And she said, no, you take this into the kitchen and you wrap it up. The girl came back and she was all nice. Thanks very much. You're very good. The girl went again. She was back. That fucking bitch. I can't believe she expected me to wrap up my own beef. It was very John and Mary.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You're wrapping up my beef, aren't you? Great
very
girl.
Good.
And then she was gone. She was like, I can't believe that witch expected me to wrap up my own beef.
Parking wise, there was a little very nearby.
There's a little nearby. Parking is free there. Not to encourage, irresponsible parking. But
I'm sure there's on-street parking as well.
Not right outside. Not immediately, you'd be hard pushed. Your best bet if you're driving would be that little. There is also a Tesco about a 4-minute walk away.
There's also an on-post storage locker there as well. So that would be the ultimate day. You could have ordered something, collect from the locker, do a small shop, reward yourself with the roast afterwards, down to the Phoenix Park, have a walk it off.
Do you know what? In terms of supermarkets, they're right beside a little. You're a few minutes walk from a small Tesco. You are a short drive or a medium walk to a big Tesco, capital B, capital T. Big Tesco Cabra.
So, value for money, what do we think?
It was €17. Mine cost the same as yours, which I was a little bit like, you got 5 more things than I did. It's kind of my own fault because I hadn't looked up. I didn't look up. I didn't look up. I didn't see any instructions. No. I got up to the till and he said €17 and I was like, well, I've no choice but to pay the €17. I think as this series go on, we're going to be able to compare prices more. But €17 to me, it felt a little, I was expecting something more along the lines of 14, especially since I didn't get everything. That was my decision, not his. It was fine. I was happy to pay it. I was happy to pay it, but 17 was a lot, I felt. Yeah, we didn't get any dessert. We were stuffed.
We were groaning on the way out.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we'll go now to, we gave our hot take just as we sat like little stuffed.
So we decided to go for a post-roast reaction.
Yeah.
Our immediate reaction. Because it's been almost a week since we had this roast. We could be misremembering. So this was our immediate post-roast reaction.
Okay, so I feel quite bilious. I'm so full. So future Esther and Emer, let's see what you've got to say about it.
So Esther, I suppose the big question is, would you go back?
Yes, I would not go back. How can I give a politician's answer? I would not go back. I would go back.
I would go back.
I would go back.
So ultimate score, how many potatoes out of potatoes?
How many roast potatoes out of potatoes? You see, it's hard because I don't want to set it too high because it is the start of this. So is 6.9 too harsh?
Well, I was going to give it a 7. So I feel...
Okay, so we're going for 6.9, 7.
I'm going to say 7.
Okay.
Well, we've come to the end of our very first Emer and Esther's Sunday roast. Emer and Esther, I feel quite emotional.
Yeah.
If you have any roast recommendations, and we mean anywhere around the country, because even though we might not make it there between now and Christmas, we want to spread the word. Mm-hmm. You never know who might wake up, not necessarily even on a Sunday, and be like, I need a carvery.
I need some roast potatoes straight away.
Whether they're in Dungarvan or Donegal, we want them to be able to get to one.
Yeah, we'll put some pipe music behind that, Emer. That's rousing.
So if you have any recommendations, you can get in touch with us on Instagram. We're at Sunday Roast Potatoes on Instagram, or you can email us on helloroastpotatoes@gmail.com.
And if you have any song recommendations for Emer and Esther's Sunday Roast playlist, which we've put on Spotify, you can also get in touch at Sunday Roast Potatoes or helloroastpotatoes@gmail.com. The link to the playlist is in the show notes. So we've got a bit of Enya on there. What did you put on?
I put on some Phil Collins. I put on some ABBA. I put on some Vampire Weekend.
Get the whole family and your friends in the back of your truck, pump out the playlist and go for a carvery lunch, because life is short. We're all going to die someday, so just stuff your face with potatoes.
I would say the playlist is inspired by kind of music we've heard on our carvery travels. And then just stuff that seems apt. If you have any strong feelings about roasts, was your mum or dad's the best? Do Yorkshire puddings have any place on an Irish plate 800 years? Yeah. Which card shape is the optimum? Get in touch at Sunday Roast Potatoes on Instagram or helloroastpotatoes@gmail.com.
And finally, please leave us a lovely review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We are bankrupting ourselves with roast dinners. It's beyond the beyond.
Nobody's paying for them except ourselves.
Except ourselves. Big roast hasn't gotten to us yet, but they will. So anyway, you can follow me at Esther Two Names as well if you so wish to.
And I'm at Emer the Screamer, kind of everywhere, I suppose. We'll be back next Sunday.
But for now, bye.
Bye.
Try spontaneous roast theme sign off each week. It's all gravy.
What did I say?
Boat baby. Maybe
don't throw roast potatoes at your neighbour.
Gonna get the nation roused up. Don't throw roast potatoes at your neighbours. That old classic.
Great.
Yeah. Cool.
Perfect.